This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks. We scraped one out. We scraped one out tonight. 92-84, the Knicks come away with a victory over the Indiana Pacers, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, man. I'm happy about the win, no doubt about it. Very happy about the win. But we still got a lot of stuff we got to work through. A lot of stuff to talk about in this game. But, you know, if you're going to get a win, you get the win no matter what. I don't care how you get it. You just got to get it. The Knicks are now 8-6 on the season. An important three-game home stretch. They won the first game of that home stretch. They got Orlando next, and then they play the Houston Rockets. Hopefully they can get those 2 wins. They should be able to get those 2 wins. And then we got a tough stretch coming up after that, ladies and gentlemen. Tough stretch. But let's get into this one before we dive into all of that. Let's dive into this one right here and break it down, man, for what it is. I got Uncle Fulio in the building. We got Tony Crow in the building. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we about to go ahead and get this thing on the move, man. Talk about it. Uncle Fulio, what's popping, bro? How you feeling?
Salute, Sam. Salute, Tony. Salute, MBK. Salute the chat. What's going on? Great victory. Great. You know, I don't necessarily come from behind victory because the game was really close for the majority of the game. But we found a way to fight and win this important ball game, important Eastern Conference ball game. Tibbs is something I really liked in that second half, and I know we're going to talk about it. And you know, we were able to pull it out, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, I'm right with Josh on that. I think this is a top 5 coaching job on Tibbs' part as far as his tenure with the Knicks. Just a couple things that stood out to me. You know, leaving Quickley in there, leaving him in there when he was clearly making moves to give people rest. I think that's what that second timeout was about, because he's like, I can't take him out. The decision to pull Rose and give him a quick rest.
Yeah,
and let Burks pretty much be the primary ball handler along with Quickley. It's so much he did in this game. I think really Tibbs won this game tonight. Great coaching job.
Yeah, I would agree. Tibbs probably did win this game tonight. You know, we still didn't get the production from our starters that we need. The bench played well. And Tibbs just said, hey, whoever is playing well defensively as well as hitting shots, that's who we're putting in the game. And that's what he did tonight. You know, when you take a look at the box score for tonight, let me get that up on the screen for us. You take a look at the box score. The Knicks were led by Kemba Walker, not just by Kemba Walker, but Kemba Walker and a couple other guys that had 16 points tonight. You know, Kemba Walker played well in the first half. Tom Thibodeau found it necessary to keep him out of the game in the fourth quarter. You know, when he went with Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickley and Alec Burks. But, you know, Kemba Walker gave us something. He gave us 16 points, 2 assists, 8 for 11 from the field, 72.7% that is. And then Emmanuel Quickley, he had 16 points and 5 assists tonight. He played a really good game. His energy, we needed his energy, and he brought a lot of it tonight. Derrick Rose, 14 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. It's over 4 from the three-point line, but Derrick Rose playing good basketball for us. Julius Randle, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. I don't think Julius Randle took a shot in the fourth quarter.
Nope.
I don't think he took a shot. I'll check, but I don't think he took a shot. R.J. Barrett finally hit a couple of shots late in the game. He had 12 points, 6 assists. This was definitely a total team effort and a big win for the Knicks as they kick off this homestand. They're now 8-6 on the season. They move back up into the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference, at least for right now. Okay, the Wizards are 10-3. The Brooklyn Nets are 10-4. Chicago's 9-4. The Miami Heat, they're 8-5. Cavaliers are 9-6, and the Knicks are 8-6. All right, so they're back into that playoff position. But man, just a tough game. Tough game. As for the Indiana Pacers, ladies and gentlemen, looking at their box score, they were led by Malcolm Brogdon. He had 22 points. And he's always a tough cover for Kemba Walker. That's without a doubt. And then you got Domantas Sabonis. He had 21 points and 15 rebounds on the night. Karis LeVert, 17 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 rebounds. Justin Holiday had 8 points. Miles Turner, he did not do anything close to what he did last time. He had 3 points, 2 blocks, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 for 4 from the field. You know, if you noticed, they switched up and put Julius Randle on Miles Turner and Mitchell Robinson on Domantas Sabonis, I guess to make sure that Julius Randle could cover Miles Turner out at the three-point line and didn't leave Mitch stranded. Either way, gutsy win for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, a gutsy win for the Knicks. What did you guys think about the lineup down the stretch? And what
I'll go first. I'll go first. I think this, like we started off with, this was a phenomenal job by Thibodeau with the lineups down the stretch. Initially, I had a problem with what he did after halftime, having that starting unit back out there. My biggest thing was I wanted to see Tibbs out of halftime. They started that third quarter, staggered the lineups a little bit more. And once they started off poorly to begin that third quarter, that's when you've seen them start to stagger the lineups a little bit better, get RK playing with those second unit guys with the IQs and the OBs and stuff like that. And I just thought it was brilliant because you got RK the ball and a faster tempo, a faster pace. And I just thought it was a great overall great job. Like Tony said, he was able and my thing is, I don't know if it was because Mitchell Robinson got hurt that he had to go with Obi and Randle. I don't know if that was the reason why he had to do that. But I've been asking for that lineup for the longest time now. I think that lineup works well with one another, particularly if you get RJ with that lineup as well. So I just thought it was brilliant. And I think this was a great job by Thibodeau tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why, because Mitchell Robinson got hurt. We'll talk about that. And I don't know how long he's going to be out or what, but we'll talk about that a little bit. Steph, what's going on?
Yeah, shout out to you, Sam, Josh, Tony, the chat. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I like what I saw tonight. We could have easily had 100 or something points. I'm not really worrying about that. It was a lot of missed shots in that first half. I like the way the offense flowed. I thought we got into a little bad habits like the beginning of the third, but for the most part, the offense flowed well. For the most part, Kemba and Rose played pretty well. We got a lot out of both of them. I like the way Tibbs mixed up the lineups. Even in the first quarter, he brought the Rose in first. So there was a lot of Rose playing with Randle and Burke. I like that because they're not afraid to just wave Randle off, and he can't really dominate when Rose or Burke or even Quickley now. Quickley just does his thing as well. RJ hit some, good shots for us. We look good. I mean, I think it's a good starting point for us.
A good starting point. Yeah, I agree. Really good starting point. Looking at the numbers behind the game tonight, the Knicks had 46 rebounds, 44 for the Pacers. The Knicks had 22 assists, 16 for the Pacers, 1 steal for the Knicks, 6 steals for the Pacers, 5 blocks for the Knicks, 6 for the Pacers. Only 10 turnovers tonight for the New York Knicks. but only 7 for the Pacers. So it was a well-played game on that front. The Knicks shot 43% from the field. They held the Pacers to 37%. The Knicks shot 32.4%, held the Pacers to 21.6% from the three-point line, which is a far cry from the first game. Right? In the first game, I think the Pacers shot 38%, and they took 41 three-point shots. Points in the paint tonight. The Pacers, 40 points in the paint. The Knicks, 42. The Pacers only had 8 second-chance points. The Knicks had 9 second-chance points. The Knicks had 10 fast break points, and the Pacers had 0 fast break points tonight. 0 fast break points. The Pacers only had 9 offensive rebounds, which is pretty good because a lot of times teams are getting, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 offensive rebounds. But now neither team really put up a lot of shots. The Pacers put up 86 shots tonight, and the Knicks only put up 86 tonight. It was an old school defensive game. Drag them out, old school defensive type of game tonight. What did you guys think about Randle? And I'll start with you, Tony, in the fourth quarter. Because Randle in the fourth quarter, my bad, Tony, he only took 1 field goal attempt. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. All right, but it got to a point in that fourth quarter where he wasn't even looking to shoot. All he was doing was trying to spread the ball around. It worked. Right? The Knicks had 5 assists in total in the fourth quarter. Derrick Rose had 5 shot attempts. Emmanuel Quickley had 4 shot attempts. Quickley was 3 for 4 from the field in the fourth quarter and 2 for 2 from the three-point line. Was it just that Julius Randle recognized he didn't have it going and other guys had it going? So, hey, I'm not going to force it up. I'm just going to find some other people? Or do you think there's any lack of confidence? I feel like he's a confident guy, but do you think there's any lack of confidence with Randle and he's starting to feel like, let me just get the ball to some other people right now? Tony, what do you think? Because he's struggling a bit. He's struggling. There's no doubt about it.
I think it was the combination of. Well, I hope number one, it was him recognizing the hot hand. Me and Steph and Ron had just spoke about that earlier. About him having to maybe be willing to give up some of those opportunities and play with his team. So I think I hope he was recognizing the hot hand, but I definitely don't think it's a lack of confidence thing. I think the other part of it is the respect he has for like a guy like Rose, because there was an opportunity late in the game where I think anybody else on the floor in that position, he would have taken that shot. Rose actually gave him the ball back after having the ball, and he could have took that shot and he gave it back to Rose for Rose to create. I don't know if he's gonna do that with everybody on the team. So I think it's a combination of both, like trusting his teammates. These are all guys that he closed the year with last year. You know what I mean? So that they have that chemistry,
right?
And he trusted those guys more than anybody else.
Right. Okay. All right. Josh, I seen you saying something. You were getting ready to say something. Go ahead and jump in it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a confidence issue at all. I mean, if you look at the first half of the game, Julius Randle was taking the shots. Guys didn't want to take the ball away from Julius Randle, so he had to shoot the ball, right? But in the second half, when you have guys like Quickley and Derrick Rose stepping up, I think Randle realized that those guys were the hot hands, and he wanted to find them and make sure they got their shots up. Which is why I totally disagree with what Andy said in the pregame about Julius Randle being selfish and only caring about his stats. I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Julius Randle is not a selfish basketball player. I think sometimes he can overpass. He can be too passive, right? I think tonight it worked because you had guys knocking down their shots. I think the story of the first half was guys had open looks. Julius Randle was finding guys, but either they didn't want to take the shot or they just were missing wide open shots. I mean, Fournier, Alec Burks, RJ, it was the same story. And then in the second half, when we got that bench unit in there, they were starting to knock down shots. They were moving the ball a little bit faster, and Julius Randle wanted to find them. So I don't think it's a confidence issue at all. I just think that, guys start knocking down their shots and Julius was more comfortable giving them the ball.
Okay. All right. I mean, I hope so. I hope so. The reason why I asked the question is because I seen a couple of times when he was wide open, maybe from the top of the key, and the shot was there, and nobody would have faulted him for taking the shot because he was open. And, he decided, I'm not going to take the shot and moved on.
One of those times he dribbled all the way across the 3-point line. And,
I remember that.
Ended up giving it up like nobody was guarding him that whole time. He went from the right side to the left side of the court.
Right. And,
like what Obi used to do last year, get the ball and just turn around and look to the back.
And that's why I asked the question, because when I see something like that, that says to me he's not confident in his shot right now. And there's a difference between being confident in your shot right now and being confident as a player overall. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Steph, what do you think?
That's something I've noticed for the past few games. And I kept saying he's not taking enough shot. He's deferring too much. And I was wondering if he's just listening to everybody saying that he ISOs and hogs the ball. And so now he's trying to overcompensate. It's been going on for some time now. Today, though, there was a few times where I thought he passed up on shots. But there was also a few times where he had a real easy shot and he's passing it, well, I guess that's kind of the same thing. Like they were passing him into really good shots and he's looking to pass it again.
Yeah.
Like they gave it to you right underneath the basket. Your job is just to shoot. He's looking for somebody else. So I think he's still trying to find his way in this offense. I think he overpasses sometimes. Sometimes, he's still trying to find his way in this offense. The flow is definitely not there from last season, for sure.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that is part of the Tibbs was probably emphasizing ball movement these past 2 days or whatever, because even what Josh mentioned in the first half, they were moving the ball. The reason they weren't taking, because those shots weren't wide open. They were being contested heavily, and then they were doing like secondary passes or side steps, and then maybe giving up the second shot. But the initial pass off, a lot of those times they were swarmed. So like you got to credit Indiana's defense more so, I think, than them turning down shots. I think they was focusing on that ball movement, and because you could tell the focus was on ball movement the whole game. It was just a matter of actually connecting and converting.
See, this is, I just disagree a little bit because I thought they did have some open looks in the first half that they were passing up. There was times where RJ Barrett didn't even look at the basket. Evan Fournier didn't even look at the basket. You know what I mean? People were complaining about Julius Randle always taking the last second shot. No one else wanted the basketball. You know what I mean? So I felt like, it's a tale of two different halves. And I think Randle was just right tonight. I don't feed into Randle not having any confidence. I think that he's still, like Steph said, still trying to find his way within the offense or whatever. He doesn't want to do too much. I think there's going to be times where he is going to need to isolate and take over a game. But I don't think tonight was that game. I thought the bench, everything that they provided us with Quickley knocking down shots, Derrick Rose knocking down shots, Randle didn't have to do that tonight. I'm perfectly okay with that.
I think, and we talked about this in the beginning, Randle could be more efficient if he stops trying to facilitate too much. Let them facilitate, get into your spots. When they get you the ball, take the shot. And the only time you pass it is if you're double teamed. I think if he does that, he's going to get really easy shots. And that's going to help his efficiency. He's still trying to, he did it a little better today. It's okay to play off the ball and let other people facilitate and create for you. They created some nice shots for him. So he got better today. Let's see if it continues.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, what about RJ? RJ came on late. Hopefully this is the start of him, starting to get back into the groove. But, he's had some really good wide open shots. He's just not knocking it down. Now, when you're thinking about the basketball game, even your wide open shots can become tough. You know what I'm saying? They can just become a struggle to make even those wide open shots because you're thinking so much about the game and you're kind of laboring. You know what I mean? But RJ came on in the second half, hit a couple of buckets. How did you feel about RJ's game? 12 points, I think 6 rebounds tonight. Go ahead, Josh.
So for me, and this is the same way how I'm looking at RJ, the same way I looked at him last season in the beginning when he was struggling, right? At the time last season, I didn't believe he was going to be able to turn it around. But now I know that RJ Barrett can knock down those shots. I think that him missing wide open opportunities, I think that's all going to come around. I'm not concerned about RJ knocking down those shots. I think all that stuff is going to fall. But what I have been saying is, stagger him with the second unit. Put him out there with Derrick Rose. Put him out there with Obi Toppin because they move faster. They're going to get RJ Barrett so much more looks, not just wide open looks, but also looks at the basket because that movement is just there. So I thought that was a really good thing for Thibodeau to try to get RJ going. And I think that's why you've seen RJ Barrett start to have that little bit more confidence playing with that second unit in the second half and primarily in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Anybody want to comment on RJ?
I agree 100%, except the confidence thing, because I think the confidence was there tonight at least. He does lose confidence.
Not in the first half, in the second half, but not in the first half.
I think it was still there. He was still taking the shots. He was missing, you know what I mean? But he was taking the shots. He just finally started hitting some. But I agree. It'll turn around.
Yeah, I mean, RJ is RJ. I think that, we can't get too high with him. We can't get too low with him. He's still developing. Some players develop faster than others. And clearly it's going to take him some time to be a bit more consistent, somebody you can count on from game to game. He's just not there yet.
Yeah. And he's a hard worker. You know what I mean? He comes to play, fights every night. He's trying to be that defensive guy. I don't know if, how much that plays into what he's doing so far this season, because his numbers are obviously down, like way down. You know what I mean? I think he's averaging, when we looked at it earlier today, he was averaging like 15.8 points per game. He scored 12 points tonight. His numbers clearly are going to drop after tonight. And I think he's going to turn it around and get back to averaging 18, 19 points per game. No doubt about that. The Knicks have a better record than they had last year at this point, too. So for as much as, there's concern, the Knicks got a better record. They pulled out a tough game tonight, a revenge game against, a team that, while they're not the best team, they're okay. They play tough defense and they're a capable team. You know what I mean? A team that can, beat probably anybody in this league on any given night. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I guess it's just an overall good win. Do you believe in the defense after tonight?
I believe that Tibbs believes in the guys that was on the team last year. and I said that the last stream that I was on live before my time off. It was 3 wins ago, including this one. He ended the game with all guys from the team last year, and I think he trusts those guys defensively. The new guys and the young guys still have to learn and prove it to him. Yeah, and I trust the guys that were on the team last year as well.
Right. And you know what? They trust each other.
Right.
I think that's a big key right there. They trust one another, and that means a lot. Steph.
Listen, he went with the best defensive players, down the stretch, and to close out the game. Fournier and Kemba are not great defensive defensive players. So he went with those who could play defense. I thought Burke was stellar today. And when you show something like that, what that tells me is you have the potential to do that every single night. And he does. And I think we need that from him. We need a shot too, but we need more of that. And I think the closing lineup is going to change. I mean, I don't think this is going to be it. It just depends on how guys are playing each game.
That's what I was going to ask you. Would you pick your best defenders and close with your best defenders each night instead of, let's say Kemba is hot. Do you say I'm still going with my best defender?
Our best defenders this year are all capable offensive players.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that bench unit, that second unit out there, I think they're our best offensive players right now and our best defensive players right now. That's why I think as of right now, that lineup is going to be the lineup that's out there on the floor. And Tibbs might stagger it a little bit. You might have RJ out there or Randle or a combination of both with Obi at the 4. I think that's our most productive lineup on both sides of the basketball, period, point blank. Even if Kemba is scoring and being a little bit more aggressive, I think that he's so much of a liability defensively that it's going to be really, really tough to pull out close games while having him out there.
So I don't see him closing with Obi, though, over Randle.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
I say a combination of, I think you're right about that. Never mind.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a combination. He closed with Quick today for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Quick was playing the point because I don't even think Rose was in.
Right.
Yeah.
So him and
right.
Burks.
I mean, I think, just to settle on a group that's going to end my games, I would go with my whoever. I would choose and look at it and say, okay, this is my best defensive group, because I agree, Tony. Just about anyone we put on the floor can score the basketball,
right?
Barring Noel and Mitchell Robinson,
right?
Okay, but that, and you don't have a center that's going to give you, 10, 15 points, every single night anyway. But as far as the other 4, it would probably be Randle, RJ, Rose, I guess, and maybe Quickley. Because Kemba's not a better defender than Quickley. I don't think Evan Fournier is a better defender than Quickley.
No.
So it probably would be that group that closed tonight with either Nerlens Noel or Mitchell Robinson.
Right.
Or Taj.
Or Taj, yeah.
Right. And you could do Burke over RJ if RJ is not hitting, between the two. And
to Josh's credit, we're far away from it, but if the defense is playing small ball, maybe you do see Obi in that lineup, because Obi's late game minutes, as limited as they've been, have been productive this year, like by far. You know what I mean? Like, and you gotta salute that. He's been taken out not through any fault of his own late in games this year.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. Let me get to a quick super chat, and I'm going to open up the phone line shortly. Big shout out to Andrew Nash. He said, if Julius keeps playing this way and not forcing it, and in return, if the team can be more consistent with making shots, the floor will slowly open up for Randle. So, he just needs to remain patient. I agree. I definitely agree. If he continues to, I guess, just trust his teammates. And when you look at in the fourth quarter, those guys, I don't know, I think maybe Tony said it or whoever said it. He trusts those guys because he played with them last year. They all kind of trust each other, which is the reason why that unit can probably work seamlessly, and they're better defensively. So it makes sense that he would use that unit. And I think he is going to settle in on a unit that he says, this is my closing unit. Just knowing Tibbs and the way that he operates as a coach, he seems to like order, you know what I mean? And doesn't want it to be all over the place. So if he can come up with a group that he says, yep, these are the guys that I can close with, I think he will. Although he does always say, whoever's playing well, I think he has an idea in his mind of, who he wants to close with. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Quick question, and this is for the group. What are the chances that he closes with Obi at the 4, Randle at the 5? I think that unit, those guys playing together, is one of our best defensive lineups out there. And we know what they can do offensively, but defensively, I think that's a great unit to be out there on the floor.
I think it absolutely depends on the other teams, the other team at the time. You're not doing that against Embiid. You know what I mean? You're not doing that against maybe a Jokic, maybe. But you know what I mean? There's certain guys that you're not going to want to put yourself at any type of disadvantage.
Right.
Right. And I would also say, when Randall's in the game, like when Obi is in the game with Rose, they're pushing the ball, they're running, he's stretching he's stretching the floor. That's playing to his strengths. When he's in there with Randall and those guys, now it's a half-court game, and that doesn't really play to his strengths. It's not like he get great offensive rebounds. It's not like he's shooting the 3. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're always monitoring Mob Deep, the bench, right? We're always monitoring them. So let's see what the bench did tonight. The bench had 44 points, 23 rebounds, 11 assists. They shot 44.4% from the field and 37.5% from 3. That was the bench tonight versus the Pacers. As for the starters, actually, they had 48 points tonight. They were 42% from the field, and they were 27.8% from 3 tonight. They had 23 rebounds and 11 assists from the starters. So the bench, while the bench had a few less points, they shot better from 3. They're a little bit more efficient than the starters tonight. But that's the bench. That's Mob Deep on the night, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get to a phone call. Looks like we got Spree calling in. Spree, what's popping with you, man? How you feeling?
Oh, man. This one was stressful, but I'm happy we got it. I'm feeling better. I'm happy for the team. Happy for us that we could celebrate this. I'm happy for Julius, to be honest with you, because I think when he watches the film, Sam, of the fourth quarter, he's going to be proud of the energy he put in the game. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Julius is great. I mean, he didn't shoot it great. 5 turnovers, too many. But I liked his energy in the fourth quarter. I really did. I mean, contesting shots, getting rebounds, finding Quickley in the corner, screening hard. That's another thing, too, that I don't think we talk enough about. Julius is a strong guy. We have good guards on this team. If he can screen like that, I mean, that one screen where he blew up that got Rose free, mm-hmm. That's a winning play. Those are all winning things at the end of games that people can like Julius Randle. They can hate Julius Randle. The bottom line is if this team is going to win and go deep, those are all the things he has to do, Sam.
I agree. Mm-hmm. He's got to do a lot of those little things. There's something that he does that I don't always like, though. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, he'll fire, and he passes really hard, it seems like. Like, he beams the ball like, yo, what are you doing? Like, he just passes the ball hard. And then sometimes he'll pass it to you, then come running towards you like a freight train, ready to set the screen, and sometimes he can't even stop himself.
Can't slow himself down.
Screen.
Yeah.
It's like,
did he play
down a little bit
in high school or college?
Well, I know he didn't play in college. I don't know about
He's
football.
from Dallas, but yes.
I mean, he looks like he's played other sports, because he can't help. You're right. He does throw some hard passes and he does some goofy stuff. But the bottom line is he's a strong dude, and I mean the only thing that I'll say about him is this: if his energy, we talk about that, like I say energy a lot, mm-hmm. and I use it probably more with him than anybody on our team because it's not like I can live with the missed shots. I mean, like, I think the ISOs were minimized to a point at times. I thought he played off of his teammates. The ball got moved, but I can't live with low energy with him ever. That's we are such a better team when he's playing with that motor.
Right.
If he has that motor, Sim, we can win a lot of games just off of that.
Right.
So that's why I always stress. People think I speak too much about energy with guys. To me, that's the body language and energy with Randle. I'm going to say it all year. That's just non-negotiable. If we're going to go deep and be a great team this year, that's number one for me. But
I agree with you 100%, Spree. You know, you got to have that energy. You know, the energy translates to good basketball play for the most part. You know, I always tell my players that I coach, the ball is attracted to energy. Mm-hmm. So if you're playing with energy, you don't even have to be looking for the ball, but the ball is going to be attracted to energies like magnetism. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be attracted to energy, and you're going to find the ball in your hands. You're going to be around the basketball. You're going to be around rebounds. You're going to be around loose balls. Somehow that ball is going to find its way to you, and you're going to have an opportunity to make plays. You know what I mean? Through energy. Through energy.
I'm with you. I mean, we're asking him to do so much, but to be honest, that's what the deal is, man. Like, when you're the guy, and it's not all on him, we're trying to make it easy, but that's like, he's playing a LeBron James type role. He's not LeBron. I'm not saying he's LeBron, but the energy always has to be there. You have to play off your teammates. You have to contest. You have to make the rotations. You have to set the screens to free up Rose, to free up Quickley, whoever. I mean, those are all the things, the little things that, like, you don't always have to make shots. That's what we talk about it all the time. And I thought in that fourth quarter he was great. And I thought, you know who else? My boy, how about that defense by Burks on Brogdon at the end of the game?
Yeah. Burks is playing some good defense. You know, he made some big shots for us tonight. Some big shots. He made some really big shots for us tonight. You know, a couple of 3 balls that, you know,
only Burks would take.
Yeah, only Burks would take.
Right.
No doubt about that.
You know, that's why I love him, because, like, I know he can miss, and I know he's goofy. He'll miss dunks, and he can do some goofy things too. But the bottom line is, with Quickley and Burks, here's the reality of the situation. They're confident players. Mm-hmm. Like, they can have a bad game, and I know they're going to come back. They're going to take the same shots. That's why I can live with them on my team. Like, remember, Sam, there was conversation. When's Quickley getting out of the rotation? Remember, there were some people that were not happy with the way he was shooting the ball. You can't take him off the floor. He's a Swiss Army knife, like Mr. Burks. You just can't. Those guys are confident players, so I'm happy for them. One last thing for you before I go. What did you think of now I'm trying to remember my train of thought. What did you think of RJ down the stretch?
I mean, he hit a couple of big threes for us down the stretch, you know, and I mean, they were huge. Mm-hmm. I'll say this about RJ and Randle. They're not letting their lack of efficiency from the field affect. I mean, you know, you're going to see them drop their shoulders. It's going to happen if they're not happy about the way that they're playing or the team is playing. But at least tonight, they didn't let it affect the rest of their game. Right? They still try to hit the boards. RJ had 6 boards. Julius still tried to get the ball around, probably too much, but you know, he still tried to get the ball around to everyone, realizing that he wasn't hitting shots. He still had 11 rebounds. But as far as RJ, I like the way he's just staying in it. Playing in a tough physical game. It
felt like last year, right? In the second half, where we had a lot of games last year where he just didn't have it and he stuck with it. And that one play in transition, maybe it was Julius. I got to go back and watch it. The dunk from Julius to RJ where he ran the floor.
Right.
Just little things, man. Yeah. Like, I'm with you, man. Like, you got to stick with it. RJ is going to have. I mean, I don't know why we got to play this way in the first half, but. You're right. He stuck with it. He's a mentally tough guy. And also Kemba, I'll say this about Kemba, and this is why I'm rooting for Kemba, not just because he's from here, but Kemba was standing up on the bench the whole game.
He was.
He had a good first half, Sam. he was attacking. Randle was setting good screens for him, letting Kemba flow. But who was on the bench when it mattered most, rooting for his teammates?
Right. Exactly.
I noticed that.
So did I. I don't remember who it was that hit the three. Somebody hit a three, and he jumped up off the bench. I see this little midget guy running out there clapping everybody's hands, and that was. I looked at it. I said, "Wow, Kemba really is small." Because I was just looking at the. They showed the replay, and he's running out there clapping everyone's hand. I'm like, Kemba really is a small dude, but. Well, compared to them, I guess. But, he's definitely, he's not worried about it. He's on the bench, still rooting his teammates on, smiling, On the other hand, Evan Fournier, maybe not as much, but.
He's been doing that on the past 2 games that Tibbs benched the starters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, this team, with the starters, like finishing the game with Kemba and Fournier, I don't think that's going to happen very much. But, I mean, the one thing I'll say about Kemba, and I'm not going to call it an Elfrid Payton role, but the bottom line is Kemba can still do things. He can still get in there. He can make a shot. He's still got a little left in the tank. And he's going to be useful to the team, but he's probably not going to be playing many fourth quarters. And I mean, but we'll see if he really has it going like he did in that Hornets game. Tibbs let him close. So I'd like to see that, Tim. I like team guys, and he's a team guy. You could tell that. So it's not just. Remember, he said at his press conference, "I'm a team guy." Some guys just say that. He showed me tonight. He's all in on the team, and that's what it's about. So that's all I got, Sam. I'm happy for the team, and we're going to win the next 2 games.
All right, let's get it. We need him. Thank you, Spree. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Appreciate you. Josh, I see you have a stat that you want to throw out there about the Knicks defense.
Yeah, so in the last 7 minutes of the game, the Knicks defense held the Pacers without a field goal. Last 7 minutes of the game.
7 minutes, yep.
Without a field goal.
Last 7 minutes of the game. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll go back because I don't think I got around to everybody about the defense. I got to Tony, and Tony, talked about them having trust in players that they played with last season. Steph, they held the Pacers to what was it again, Josh? No points in the last 7 minutes. Oh, no field goals in the last 7 minutes. No field goals in the last 7 minutes.
10 in the fourth, right?
And 10 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Is it fool's gold, Steph, or are you believing in it? Do you think maybe Thibodeau has found a couple of pieces and said, yeah, you know what, we can get this defense back by playing these guys or those guys or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you saw the difference on the drives. People would come over, other players will come over to help and stop the drive, get back to the 3-point shooters. Kemba, effort, not just his effort, he played a little better defense, but when it's just one player, you can kind of cover that. When it's 2, 3, 4 players, then it becomes a problem. So I thought the defense was good against a team that had offensive threats. Miles Turner, Sabonis, LeVert, Brogdon, right? So I think this is just a preview of things to come. At least I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, Kemba Walker tonight played 20 minutes and 29 seconds. Derrick Rose played 24 minutes and 33 seconds. Evan Fournier, he played 23 minutes and 33 seconds. Emmanuel Quickley played 23 minutes tonight. Alec Burks played 22 minutes tonight. The only 2 players who played over 30 minutes is R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle. R.J. Barrett played 30 minutes and 23 seconds. Julius Randle played 35 minutes and 29 seconds. Obi Toppin played 15. Taj Gibson played 28 minutes, almost 29 minutes.
I think the reason why Randle played so much tonight was because of the injury to Mitchell Robinson. I think, and them having that lineup out there with Randle at the 5, I think that's the reason why. I think if not for that injury, we would have seen a little bit more Mitchell Robinson in the fourth quarter. But to answer your question in regards to the defense, Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley have made tremendous strides on that side of the basketball. Let's just call it what it is. These guys have been really good defensively this year, and I think they're an upgrade defensively instead of having Kemba and Evan Fournier out there. And even Burks, to his credit, you know what I'm saying? So as we talk about defense, you know, who's Thibodeau going to have out there? I think we're going to expect to see these guys out there a little bit more in the fourth quarter, particularly if, you know, knock on wood, if you have a Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens and Wellhurt, I think you might see Obi and Randle out there to finish games. I think that's a really good lineup for us to have defensively out there, in my opinion.
Okay, let me get to this. Let me get to this phone call, and then I'm gonna come back and I want to talk about the Mitchell Robinson and the injury and everything. Calling you live. What's popping? Tell me your name. Where you from?
Hey, Sims. This is King, the King man. This is first time caller.
What's going on, King? Appreciate you, my brother.
Steph.
Hello, how are you?
Tony, Josh. I'm here to stir the pot a little bit. You know, I think we're missing one important defensive piece, and I bet you can't guess who it is. And I think it's Mike Woodson, the defensive king.
You think so?
Nobody has mentioned since he left what's been going on. Have you ever thought about the defense from last year and Mike Woodson was involved?
Well, I mean, I know when Mike Woodson left to go to Indiana, and we're not talking about the Pacers, but college team.
The Hoosiers.
I worried a little bit about the chemistry of the team because I felt like he was that big uncle, right? He was the uncle of the team. You know, the guy that, you know, when Tibbs, if they didn't like what Tibbs was doing, they go talk to Woody and Woody smooth it over. You know, I thought he was that kind of a guy. So I worried about the chemistry a little bit because I felt like something was going to be missing. Then, you know, later on in the season, they go on a 9-game win streak and, you know, they play great basketball. Do I think the Knicks, you know, miss some things with Woody in some aspects? Sure, I do. You know, and I don't think there's anybody on the team that can replace what Woody brought to the team. I don't know if he was, you know, and maybe he is part of, you know, just. I mean, he's a guy that's been a head coach in his league, so you know he can see things from that perspective, and I'm sure it was a great help to Tom Thibodeau, you know, to just be able to talk to him about little adjustments here, little adjustments there. You could be right. I don't know.
Yeah, because he was the defensive guru for that team, you know.
You know, I mean, I know. I mean, we know Tom Thibodeau is supposed to be a defensive guru, and you had two guys that are defensive-minded coaches. You know, so you could be right.
Yeah, because he stayed on the young boys, you know, real heavily. You know, he put them in places where they supposed to be in, and that's what made them gel last year. Mm-hmm. And I think they missing that gel piece.
Yeah,
that's the jelly. That's the jelly on the bread.
Now, listen, they definitely missing the gel piece, man. You know, Kemba and Fournier haven't quite gelled with everyone yet. We'll see. I think they'll come around, and Thibodeau's going to figure out the best way to use them, and then that's going to allow them to gel.
Well, I don't think Kemba and Fournier can gel together. I think they're going to have to be separated.
Huh? Oh, you might be right about that. Because like Steph, you know, is saying, you can deal with one person in the lineup and cover up for one person that doesn't play defense, but it's hard to do two. Yeah. Well, King, I appreciate your input, man. Thank you for the call. Hope to hear from you more often.
Oh, you will, because I'm from the Bronx, the Boogie Down.
All right.
And I'm now in Atlanta, but I'm the Boogie Down Bronx man.
All right.
I've been back there since Cassie Russell and them. I'm the old king.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, we appreciate you for listening and calling in, man, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you.
All right, you will.
And when we come down to, and when we finally come and do a show or something in the ATL, we need you to come out and be there.
Oh, I definitely will.
All right. Appreciate you, King. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
That's old school right there. That's old school. That's old school right there.
Yeah. Have you? I mean, do you think he has a valid point there about Mike Woodson?
I think Mitch might miss him the most.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was I mean, not even like I'm down on Mitch, because I really think it's his conditioning more than anything else. I think he's gonna come around as well. But I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I think they're accustomed to Tibbs. So even if that was the case last year, like your uncle analogy, I think at this point they know who Tibbs is. You know what I mean? They actually had some time to end the season without Woodson. So, you know what I mean? I think they probably adjusted by now.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, they can adjust, but it's still just something that maybe he brings. And anytime you lose anyone, right? It might be something something that they bring that other people may not bring. You know what I mean? And Woody always struck me as that kind of guy. Right. Something that you really can't replace. Woody just always struck me as that kind of guy, who just had that kind of fatherly love towards the players that, brings people together. Not that Tom Thibodeau wasn't that kind of a guy, but you always got to have.
I'm never happy.
Yeah, you always got to have, somebody there that can cut in between and keep
like a player's coach, a player's coach.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this too, though. I think Woodson had a effect on Tibbs too. I think Tibbs opened up a little bit due to the fact of his time with Woodson.
Right.
So
yeah, I would agree. Mitchell Robinson, any thoughts about or hear anything about what's happening, what's going on with Mitch?
This one's real tough for me, Sam. It's really tough for me because I know when Mitchell Robinson is healthy, he can be a difference maker. However, I mean, I just think offensively, I haven't seen us using him with the lob. I want to see more of that lob with him. I haven't been seeing that a lot. I know we had a few plays here and there with Mitch, but outside of that, offensively, he's just not giving us anything. Nothing offensively. And we kind of knew that already, but whenever your team is struggling offensively as it is, I don't see any reason to really have him out there on the floor. Defensively, he's not been playing his best. I think since that game against Philly, he hasn't really been making that much of a difference defensively. To be honest, I'd rather have him. And I know I gave Nerlens Noel a bunch of flack, but Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson are seriously. And I can admit when I was wrong. That was a terrible take by me about Nerlens Noel. Him and Taj Gibson are our best pick and roll defenders. They guard the pick and roll exceptionally well. And Mitchell Robinson is just not there yet. He's still making some of the same mistakes I've seen him make early on in his career. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling Mitchell Robinson right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, he was ruled out for the remainder of this game, with an ankle injury, a sore ankle. If he's not there, hopefully Nerlens Noel is ready to come back, or else we're going to be going with Taj and then probably going small because it doesn't seem like Tom Thibodeau has much trust in Jericho Sims at the moment.
Yeah,
at the moment. Steph,
Yeah.
any thoughts about what you think Tom might do? Is it just going to be he goes with Taj and then goes small, or do we at least see Jericho Sims for a couple of minutes if Nerlens Noel or Mitch can't go on Wednesday?
Wednesday, it's Orlando. Orlando has Mo Bamba and
Wendell Carter,
Lopez, and then the Wagner brother, the older brother.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's an opportunity. Lopez and the older brother Wagner, they're not very mobile, so I could see Sims maybe getting off the bench. But I just think that Tibbs trusts Taj more, regardless of the matchup. I just think he just trusts him more. So I see him in the small ball lineup.
Yeah, probably so. Let's see. Maybe Tibbs talked about it in his post game. Let's see what he says. This is Tom Thibodeau in the post game show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a listen in.
Well, I thought even from the start, I liked the energy of the team, and on both sides of the ball, I thought we played really hard defensively, and I thought offensively there was great movement and there was great pace. Now we missed some open shots, but they were the right plays, and if we play like that, we're going to have a good chance to win. And Indiana's been playing great basketball. They're a tough team to match up with. They play hard. They're tough, play smart. So it's a good win for us.
Tonight when you don't have Noel and then you lose Mitch, Taj is a plus 22 out there. What did you get?
Yeah, and I think in the thing I don't want to overlook is the game that, and Taj was fantastic, just what he gave us, because he gives you whatever you need. But also the way Julius played was huge for our team. And so his energy energized our team, and then the willingness to make plays and spray the ball out and getting the ball moving side to side, that was huge for us. And then I thought Obi really gave us good minutes as well. So the bigs that we had got the job done. And I was, glad to see RJ have the perseverance to keep fighting and work his way through the game. And of course, Derek, I thought Kemba gave us good minutes early on. Derek gave us good minutes. Alec was really good. Quick was huge. So the bench came in and gave us a big lift.
Over the last couple of games, you've said we have to improve, we have to be better. What are a couple of things from this game where you thought, okay, yeah, this is what I needed from that?
Yeah, no, and it's just to be solid on both sides of the ball. When we always say the defense, the rebounding, and and keeping our turnovers down, we have to be able to count on that every night. That puts you in position to win. And then if we share the ball offensively, well, I know we're going to score a lot of points. We have a lot of really good offensive players, and if we share the ball with each other and we move, we'll be fine. And we have good depth, and every night it could be someone different. And so, and it's a good, solid win, but you can't feel too good about yourself. Tomorrow we got a lot of work to do, and we have to be honest with ourselves and look at the film and continue to make corrections and concentrate on our improvement.
Feels like Emmanuel Quickley really relishes in threes. When did you notice that?
When he was in college. Yeah. One of my assistants, Dice Yashimoto, was at Georgia, and they played against him. He said, and he called me. I wasn't coaching. I was just traveling around. He said, "Watch this kid Quickley. He's like all the small guards we had in Chicago." He said he hits every big shot for Kentucky. And so I started watching, and then I called Wes, and I asked him about him. And Wes, gave me the background on him. And so I continued. I didn't know where I was going to be, but he was someone that was high on our radar.
Wow.
Just in the fourth quarter, deciding, it's going to be Quickley, Rose, and just keeping the starting backcourt on the bench. Like, what goes into that thought process?
Just the way the game unfolds, so they had good rhythm going. They played well. They got the lead. And so that's how we'll approach it. Yeah, he's a very underrated defender. He's a fierce competitor, which I think really helps him. Sometimes we have to reel him in a little bit with his gambles, but he's underrated.
Playing at a different speed sometimes. Is he out of control or under control?
No, he's under control. He's probably a better athlete than people realize, but he's real shifty. And so he knows he can create separation, and that's what I think makes him so hard to guard. He's not a straight line guy. He changes speeds, but he's shifty, and he's always had the ability to draw fouls. He did. If you went back in college, he did the same thing, and so he's not getting those calls right now. But the thing I like, he's real smart, and he's adapted. So he's playing through contact. He's getting fouled a ton, and hopefully people will recognize it down the road.
Can you talk about the defensive
Yeah. No, you're making a great point. And Alec, the thing that you like about Alec is he can guard, he can shoot, he can pass, he can dribble, he can guard multiple positions. You can do a lot more switching when he's on the floor. He has good size. He has great toughness. There was a stretch where he was at the point in the fourth when we were resting Derek. He can handle the point, so that it's, it's a Swiss Army knife. You just whatever you need, you got. And so, and he's a top of the line competitor. So that's huge for us.
Coach, how important was it, on a night where RJ goes over 6 in the first half? I mean, he comes at 4 for 13, but he still made some big plays and hit some big shots late when you needed him. It seems like he never kind of gets down. Yeah,
no, and it's a big plus that he approaches it that way. He never really gets too high, never gets too low, just keeps going, and that's what we wanted. I think he locked into his defense more, and just help the team any way you can. And then, it was interesting because you got a fast break layup. Taj hit him on a couple of great passes on kickouts, and that's what we were saying. We just don't want to jack up wild threes, but those threes were great rhythm threes. The defense collapse, it's coming inside out, you're stepping into your shot. Beautiful plays, and that's what got him going and got his rhythm going. And he's a tough player, he has good size. We know he's going to end up shooting the ball really well for us.
You said Mitchell was nicked up before the game, and did you just re-aggravate the ankle?
Yeah. You just, we'll see where he is after. He just nicked it up a little bit, but he should be fine.
Is it unusual for bench guys to be as good a defending group as this one is? It seems like, when people look at bench guys, they're supposed to come in and score.
Yeah, and I think we saw it last year, once we got Derek and when we added Taj, I think our defense was great all year last year, but then our bench really took off, and we won a lot of games with our bench last year. And I think they have good chemistry. They've been together now, and they play off each other extremely well. And there's a lot of versatility to the group because they can shoot, they put it on the floor, and they can pass. And so, and they play with a lot of speed. They play with pace. Yep, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tom Thibodeau, and some very eye-opening things he said about Quickley. That was his guy for a long time. It sounds like, that he wanted Quickley to be wherever he was going to be. Emmanuel Quickley was going to be there, so that's eye-opening. So I mean that tells you right there
where he was drafted.
Yeah, right. And, yeah, go ahead.
Can I add something to that real quick? I know there, a lot of people say, and I was saying this a little bit at the beginning about maybe there is a little disconnect between Tibbs and the front office in regards to who we draft. But based on that comment right there, I think that dispels that notion 100%. I know Obi Toppin wasn't the best defender coming out of college, but I think Tibbs is that kind of coach where he enjoys the process of building a player up. The defensive strides that Quickley and Obi have made this year have been tremendous, like I said earlier. And I think Tibbs likes Obi because he feels like Obi is a coachable player. So maybe Tibbs wanted Obi all along, Obi and Quickley all along. He said he wanted Quickley, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's seen Obi there and say, I want Obi. I can be able to work with that kid because he's coachable.
Right. Well, somebody's going to say something? I thought somebody was about to say something. No? Wow.
I mean, just the fact that Tibbs didn't even have a team. And he called somebody and say, take a look about Quickley.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I'll be back in the league. I want to have a head start. I don't know, but he's asking about players and he's not even in the league.
That's crazy.
Or credit Dice because Dice called him first.
Right. Exactly. All right, let's quickly talk about this Orlando game. If I'm the Knicks, I'm in revenge mode against Orlando.
I said tonight was the revenge game. I think the next game might be the actual revenge game because that was our first loss, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was the first loss, and they know in their heart at home, and they know they wasn't supposed to lose to Orlando that second game. It's hard to beat a team twice back to back. We know that. But they know they weren't supposed to lose that game, and they lost it in disappointing fashion. And I don't think they were happy about that. They want to come back. I think they got some real. They might have been overlooking Indiana to get to Orlando. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? That's crazy to say because normally you overlook Orlando to get to Chicago or Phoenix or somebody like that or Golden State. You know what I'm saying? They might have been looking right to this Orlando game because I think they want this one back really bad. And I'm expecting them to come out with a lot of energy against Orlando on Wednesday.
People been asking for a blowout.
Yeah.
So maybe we finally get one.
Maybe.
You know,
Orlando right now is what? What are they? 3-9, 3-10, something like that.
Yeah.
I know they're towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They're 3-11. So they got the next two teams the Knicks got coming up. Orlando's 3-11 and Houston is 1-13.
Yeah, you got it. You got to step on their throat, man.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. They took us off our high horse. You know, they started the domino. Not saying we lost multiple in a row at that point, but you know what I mean. First loss, and people was panicking then. You know, they in the chat. The chat was going crazy. They were like,
right.
"Oh, 5-1." It was going crazy, but we gotta
stop Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony's balling. He's balling right now. We gotta stop him. That's their guy.
Yeah,
right.
But three, it's tough, man. 3 wins, and one of them was against us. You don't want us to have 2. You know what I mean? Like you don't want them to get 2 against you.
Right. Cole Anthony right now is averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game.
He started that with us.
Yeah. Because
I think he was playing bad prior to that.
He was.
Prior to that game with us.
And then he had like 30 whatever against us.
Balling.
Not only did he have 30, but he had like 17, 18 rebounds or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Against us. Right now, he's averaging, he's shooting 43.8% from the field. He's shooting 39.4% from the 3-point line. You know, he's averaging 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And I said he was gonna have a career like DJ Augustine. Obviously, his career's not over yet, but if he continues to play like that, he'll be far from DJ Augustine, man.
I was telling them earlier that I feel like there's only 3 games this year that somebody didn't have a career game against us. I feel like almost every game this year, somebody had a career game against us. But whether, Cole Anthony, that was his career game. Miles Turner had his career game. I haven't went down and wrote the list, but I know there's only 3 that a team didn't.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then Houston, they've lost 12 in a row.
Yeah.
I hope they get a win before they come play us.
Right.
I hope they get a win. I don't know if they even have a game before they play us. Let me see. Are they playing tonight? Yep. They
do play tonight. They lost.
They lost to Memphis 136-102.
Their best players are at the 1 and 2, right?
Let me see. Who are their best players?
Green.
Whoever their rookie point guard is, and then Porter Jr.
Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. Yeah.
And, Christian Wood is out there as well.
Yeah, Christian Wood is there as well. Yeah.
Kenya Martin's kid.
Who? Oh, yeah. Kenya Martin Jr.
Martin Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tate starts for them. Kenya Martin Jr. comes off the bench, and Tice, who played for Boston.
Tice. Yeah, Daniel Tice. I mean,
Garuba.
This should not be a team that's anywhere near, being able to compete with us. So we better take care of business against these 2, man. It's so important that, in my opinion, that we go 10-6 out of this stretch.
Mm-hmm.
We win all 3 home games, be 10-6, because then we got a whopper of a schedule coming up. And we need to have as much cushion as possible so that we can get some wins. I mean, so that in the event that we take a couple of losses, we're still good.
Yeah,
Right.
that's we started the season 11-15 in our first 26 games.
Win
11. So if we could get to 10-6, you know what I mean, and just comparing that to 11 wins, 15 losses, you know what I mean, that's a good window of you know what I mean. We're already better than a better start than last year, but that would be a nice cushion, like you said.
Yeah. It'll be a real nice cushion looking at the schedule that's coming up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slide this over here. Oh, actually, I'm not gonna slide it over there. What you're seeing right there is a little play of the game from a little while ago, and I didn't mean to bring that up, but you might as well take a look at it. That was a couple of games ago when you seen Emmanuel Quickley laid up for Obi Toppin, and he, sent one home. There we go. Now I can get. What am I looking at here? Oh no, I'm lost. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing right now.
I'll tell you what, that one play Obi had today where he brought the ball back.
Oh yeah, that was a nasty one. That was a nasty one. That was.
He even put the face up after like somebody else dunked it.
Because he knew, he knew he cocked that one back.
Just a ball of energy. Him and Quickley together, just a ball of energy. I just love seeing those guys out there.
Yeah, he knew he cocked that one back. Okay, So here we go. Now I got it up. Sorry about that, guys. Let me get that up here. So you can see in November, now that we beat the Pacers, we're 3-5 in the month of November. We got our first home win in the month of November. All right, we play Orlando. Then we got the Rockets. And then we got the Bulls, right? And right now, the Chicago Bulls are, one of the top 6 teams in the Eastern Conference. I can tell you exactly where they are right now in just a second. The Chicago Bulls are 3rd in the Eastern Conference. They're 9-4 on the season. And then we have the Los Angeles Lakers, right? The Lakers are 8-6. They're 7th in the Western Conference. But, of course, they got LeBron and Russell Westbrook and Melo and Anthony Davis and all those guys over there. And then we play the Phoenix Suns. Right? And the Phoenix Suns at the moment are 10-3, second best team in the Western Conference record-wise. Second best team in the league record-wise. All right, tied with the Washington Wizards. Yeah, tied with the Wizards. And then we got the Hawks, and then we got the Nets. All right, right now the Atlanta Hawks aren't playing well. They're 6-9. They won their last 2. The Brooklyn Nets are 10-4. All right, and they won their last 3. So, we got a tough schedule coming up after this 3-game homestand, which is the reason why we got to get all 3 of those. Got to get all 3 of these games right here. So there we go, man. There we go. Any last words before we get out of here? Josh, I'll start with you.
Thibodeau. Make those adjustments. Keep making those adjustments. Keeping opposing teams honest. Just try to mix it up a little bit more. Like you said, Sim, last season, always have Randle or RJ on the floor. One of those guys out there. I think that's a really good thing for this team. You don't have to have them both out there at the same time all the time. And let's just keep it up. Go Knicks.
Yeah, no doubt. Look at the Public Enemy. See, somebody got something to say. So let me put this up there. Go ahead, Tony. I'll bring it up. Go ahead, Tony. And I'll bring it up here.
Yeah, I agree with Josh, man. It's about Thibodeau. He made an adjustment, and I say that because he got outcoached the first time we played Indiana, and he's gonna need to do that too. A lot of the disdain was for Randle and the team last year, but Tibbs really didn't get any slack. Nobody came at him about the playoff performance. So and his lack of adjustment. So great coaching job tonight. Hopefully he keeps it up. Hopefully the team continues to improve, and and win some games while we're still improving. So
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. Sim, keep doing your thing.
Appreciate it. Steph, some last words?
Yeah, I mean, Tibbs continue with the adjustment, but at the end of the day, the players have to play and the players have to hit shots. So hopefully we're able to do that then the next game as well. We need these 3 games. At least the next 2, because Chicago's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, no doubt. It is. And D Public Enemy says, Sim, you and Tony said the same thing about Kobe White and Cole Anthony, that they wasn't good point guards, but yet they still crapping on the Knicks. Listen, I also said about Cole Anthony that if he gets drafted to the Knicks, he's not going to be good. But if he gets drafted to somebody else, like Orlando, he's probably going to be good. I mean, listen, they don't have nobody else down there to score the basketball. I mean, they do got Terrence Ross, but he's not going to be their leading scorer. They don't have nobody else down there. Let's see what happens when he gets on a good basketball team. But he's balling out.
He's balling out and losing. Granted, they did beat us, but we beat them too, and revenge time.
Yeah, no hate in my blood for Cole Anthony. I don't like his attitude sometimes, but, it's all good. It's all good. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'll be on tomorrow on the shoot around, so we can look at this game again in another light. We'll talk about play of the game, and do all those type of things that we do, break down a couple of stats, stuff like that. All right? Also, if you want to check out more interviews, practice interviews, and all that kind of stuff, go to the Knicks YouTube page, ladies and gentlemen. That's where I got the Tom Thibodeau interview. They got all kind of interviews up there. So go up there. I got the link pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. Make sure you go check that out. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. See you tomorrow. Be peaceful. Spread love. We out.
This is NBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.